Hello there, parents. Welcome into this children's and young adult astrology video where I will take you through some of the bigger themes that your children might be experiencing in June. Why they might be having the experiences they're having, and how can you help navigate this particular energy weather with them to better support them and to meet them where they are at. My name is Chrissy Wissler. I am an intuitive, an evolutionary astrologer, and I'm also the parent of two very unique children. And let me tell you, understanding the astrology, knowing their astrology has just been an absolute game changer in my parenting journey. I'm able to better meet my children where they're at, and I understand at that deeper soul level the experiences and why they are having these experiences. So I do hope this is very helpful for you. And if you would like to know more on perhaps having a birth chart reading for your child so you can understand them better, their unique sensitivities, their abilities, what they are here to do this lifetime, and how you can support them, please reach out. I do offer children's birth chart astrology readings. You can find out more at my website, chrissywissler.com, or you can email me directly, and I'll link that below in the description for you. And if you do find this video helpful, please share this with other parents or caregivers, people you feel might be really beneficial of this information. And please, as always, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. It really does help me to connect with other parents like you. And with that, with the crows speaking, let's go ahead and get into what this astrology can mean for you and your children. And also to say that this is not strictly related only to children. These energies that I'm speaking of, we all are experiencing it. I'm just hoping that taking a more parental, child-focused lens to help you navigate, but this is definitely interchangeable with child and adult, I assure you. Okay, so we have really been moving into this overall Gemini energy. It started in late April when Sedna, this dwarf planet, moved into Gemini. Sedna is going to be there until 2076, so her energy is going to be very highlighted this next several generational period of time. And I'll be talking about her as we move into this. But we also had Jupiter. Jupiter went into Gemini the end of May. And Jupiter is bringing in this energy of expansion when it comes to Gemini, helping us to see from this higher vantage point all the little bits and the pieces, the networks, the connections, and what is this overall purpose when we take all these little connections. Sorry, just had to clear that energy, which is very interesting as well, because Gemini has so much to do with the voice, with how we communicate, with writing, all these levels of communication. And we can be even experiencing this need to clear out some of the old ways that we might have been blocked in communication. And it's very possible, and I've seen it in my own children, that they are kind of these harbingers, these light bearers, carrying in these new codes for communication. So, well, that was a little interesting. Okay, so again, it started really eminent, this energy with Gemini coming into May, but it kicked off on June 6th when we had our Gemini new moon. And I've got notes, so you'll be seeing me look at that because there's a lot happening with this astrology. And I will do my best to at least hit the highlights. I'm not going to be hitting everything because there's way too much, but giving you parents the highlights of what to maybe expect for your children. So the Gemini new moon on June 6th saw the sun and the moon starting off this whole new moon cycle until July 7th. But we also had the Mercury, it was conjunct Jupiter as well with Sedna, and Venus. So we had Venus, the sun, and the moon. So we had a lot of Gemini energy. Venus, the sun, and the moon really kicking off this cycle. But we also had Mercury, who rules Gemini, next to Jupiter in Sedna. So this energy is going to be setting this intention for this next moon cycle. Some of these cycles are going to be much longer. For example, Jupiter is going to be in Gemini for the next year. So some of these energies we are working with on a longer term basis. So just kind of be aware that we do have this month cycle, but then there's a longer theme that you and your children may be experiencing in different ways because your children have very unique birth charts. They are having their own unique experiences. And yet there's this overall collective energy that we are working with and weaving with. All right, so what does all this Gemini energy mean? This can be a very fast-paced, speedy time. Gemini is all about information. Jupiter is coming in wanting to bring in truth to the information. So what can be highlighted, definitely the news, social media, this kind of thing. And, depending, and this is going to be depending on the age of your children. So if you have older young adults and teenagers, for example, you're going to have much more of that social media information overload experience. And it's that need to really be grounded in that information, to not get spun out of control because there's so much truth in information that's hitting us and knocking us and them over. So again, it's going to be dependent on the age of your children and exactly where they are in that world. This can also be very difficult to focus. This can be some of that Gemini energy. So as parents, for example, and this is very interesting that we have this Gemini energy coming in at the end of school seasons, the school session. So if you are expecting your child to really sit down for these last few weeks of school and to be really focused and to pay attention, that's probably not going to happen. Gemini can be very scattered. And it can be this scattered in a way that they're following their curiosity, where it's like, oh, this thing is really excited, so they pick up that book and they read 2 pages. And then they're like, oh, well, this thing over here, and they pick up another book. And so they can have this, like your child or you reading 10, 12 different books that they have going on at the same time. And each moment is bringing them a new interest, a new curiosity. So how can you allow that curiosity to flow as it needs to? This is going to be a very tap dancing kind of energy in general, where we are wanting our children to have that freedom to explore, to follow their interests, their curiosity. And then though, and this is where you as parents and your intuition needs to really kick in and to follow that. is it too much information? Is it too speedy? Is it too fast? Do you need to help your children realize oh, hey, you're kind of spinning out of control. You're having a hard time focusing on anything. And giving them that awareness to start to really ground in, to maybe hone in on just a few things and not 10 things, for example. Or, to say to them, okay, I see you want to go start on this other project. How about we clean up this one first? So it's like you are both giving them that freedom to explore. You're also, though, holding some kind of boundary and to ground them in. And again, this will be very different depending on the age of your children and even their unique personalities and sensitivities. Some of them might not bother with this Gemini energy at all. Maybe they're very grounded. Or maybe you're needing to take the initiative and to help them ground. To tell them, hey, let's go outside for a little bit. Let's go on a walk. Why don't you take your shoes off and let's go walk barefoot on the earth? That kind of thing. Moving their bodies is also really helpful to get out of that very heady Gemini spinning energy and bring back into that body. To slow down, to connect into the earth. We have Mars going into Taurus June 9th, which is the day that I'm filming this. So very helpful, supportive energy to ground in our actions, to bring it back into our bodies. And I'll talk more about Mars in just a moment, but those are some, when I was really reflecting on this as a parent and how I might navigate with my children, that's some of what came to my mind. And, if you happen to have this experience with your child, what would you recommend to other parents? Or what has worked for you? What are you seeing in your children? Are you seeing this faster, speedy energy? Are they having a harder time focusing on this end of school? Or are they ready to go jump and to go play and to connect with new friends? Okay. Also, I would like to add in with this is to really watch yourself, parents, when it comes to this possibility of trying to control our children from this. Again, this is a very natural energy, this Gemini energy that they can be experiencing right now. So be mindful. Are you getting too controlling with this? No, you can't go do that thing until you finish all of your homework, just as an example. You have to finish this thing before you can go to the next. And watch yourself specifically for putting any unnatural guilt on your children around this. You can't go be scattered and curious and jump from group to group to group. You need to go do this thing right here. And then putting any guilt on them. And the reason I'm bringing this up is on, what's the date? We're going to have the Capricorn full moon. I believe it's on the 22nd of June. It's around then. Dates are getting really weird for me right now. And then we're going to have Saturn, who rules Capricorn, going retrograde on June 29th. So we might have extra over-controlling energies as parents. And this can be very unconscious. Again, we're working with this collective energy right now. So that's why I'm saying, just be mindful and watch yourself. If you find yourself, and I'll even say sliding into maybe how your parents raised you, or how society told you that you should be as a parent, catch yourself and ask yourself, wait, is that what I really want to be saying and want to be doing? Is that really the message I want to be giving my child right now? Or can I do this in another way? Mercury is just beautifully helping us to see another perspective, to see from another lens of this diamond, to see through that facet of like, okay, well, this is the way society and my parents might have raised me. But if I turn it a little bit this way, now what can I see? Now can I find another way to approach being a parent? And can I experiment and see what might happen if I do it this way rather than I do it that way? Or if I do it that way or that way? And see with your children what new connections, what new paths might be unfolding for you both. Okay, so also as well, this Gemini energy can be bringing in a lot of he said, she said bullshit. Okay, and that's, well, this person said this and da-da-da. Well, this person said this, and it's kind of like that bickering, that like sibling kind of bickering. And if you have brothers or sisters of your own, and when you poke each other, like it can be that kind of energy. And it can also be very powerful, and it can be very biting and cutting with that he said, she said bullshit, okay? Powerful words, again, harmful words. We have Pluto is right now trining all those early energies in Gemini. So that Sedna energy, Jupiter, Mercury has been moving through there. It's past that at this point, but just know that that can be some of this experience, especially as well, like lower octave Jupiter can be this very one size fits all. There is only one truth. There's only one God, for example, like that very narrow-minded, it has to be this particular way. This is where Jupiter can get really distorted. Just example, like the Crusades, like we're going to go and attack you because you don't believe the same God that we do. So we're just going to go and take over. And we're doing it in the righteous name. Like that kind of energy, very lower octave Jupiter. Higher octave is this understanding. All right, clearing that a little bit anyway. Definitely a lot of throat voice energy coming through. This understanding that we have different views, and can they each be true for each person? So it's bringing in this more diversity understanding, if we can rise to that, if we can see that. And there can be even a difficult transformation with that in order to rise. Pluto can really be asking us to shed old beliefs to rise to this new, higher perspective and vantage point. So I'm curious if you might be seeing that with your children in some way, especially the older children. Again, when we start to get into more of that, that bigger awareness, that's definitely for this, the older age and the understanding. Sorry, my nose is really itching too. Okay. You might also really be experiencing this energy of friendships in your children's life, as well as siblings, okay? Gemini is siblings, also with our close friends and connections. You can see perhaps your children have been really wrapping themselves into different friendships. They might have really been losing who they are, their own values, what they believe, into the other person, because they want to fit in. They want to be liked. And this theme is our North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra. So we've been working with this one for about a year now. We still have another 6 months to go. So just be aware that this can be heightened right now, especially when it comes to friends. I'm gonna bend myself out of shape in order for this person to like me. I'm gonna change how I look, what I wear, in order to fit in with the group. That can be some of that as well. And there is a need for each of us, and our children too, to hold on to who we truly are. what is it that your child desires? What is their unique way and pace and direction of being? And how can you kind of help hold that energy, that centrage for them? I mean, they have to go through these experiences on their own, right? And yet you can still be this pillar of compassion and love and understanding. So again, this is why I like to know the astrology. So even if my children might be having these experiences, I can have a bit of detachment from the experience itself and understand, like, okay, this is something that their soul is working through, it's evolving, and it's wanting to grow into right now. So as well with this Mars energy, now I went into this a lot deeper with my my regular June astrology energy update, so you can check more into that. But this here, I'll say just for parents, so you're aware, we've been really moving through a very deep, potentially healing crisis since the April 8th eclipse. So April, May, and even into June, hopefully things are going to really start to ground and to settle in some ways. We still can be spinning. We still may not know what's going on, okay? But as far as this healing crisis, that we're moving through it, that we're starting to understand why we might have had the experiences that we're having. Now, what do I mean by healing crisis? So Mars moving through his own sign of Aries, this can have to do, now with our children, physical autonomy, actual physical freedom. This can have to do with body. Older children, this absolutely has to do with sexuality, with our desires, and are we allowed, are we free to follow our desires? Are we allowed to truly be ourselves? And with Chiron, the wounded healer, being at that Aries eclipse, the exact, where might we have had a healing crisis around those energies? Aries also can have to do with anger. And have we been allowed, have your children been allowed to express their anger? So again, the flavors of this will depend on your children, their age, their unique soul experiences. This Mars Chiron energy can feel very depressive. It can be an actual physical illness that your child might have been experiencing and going through. This also has to do with our life force, our will to live, our spark. And where might they have been knocked off their horse? They're so excited to go do something, and then it's like they get gut punched and they fall down on their face. And this Mars Chiron is that courage, that confidence, that bravery to stand back up and to try again. And then, oh, got knocked off the horse, flat on your face, and then get back up. Get knocked down, get back up. This has been some of this energy that your children might have been experiencing, as well as yourself, because again, this is a very collective energy. But I did want to bring that to your attention if this has been some of your experiences with them, with your children, so you can, again, have a better idea of why. This is to help us heal this divine spark for our life that we have, the uniqueness that we are here to do and to trailblaze new directions. And yet, where might our souls have been wounded in this life, but also lifetimes before, or again, tapping into that collective as well. And if you have very sensitive children, they can absolutely be tapping into these deeper fields, this morphogenetic field that we as humanity are sharing and connected into. So as well as we're going to have Mars squaring Pluto on June 11th, will be exact. So again, this can be very fiery energy. So anger, again, just this biting words. you might be experiencing that this particular week. So if that is you, just kind of know that this is part of that healing journey, especially when it comes to healing our masculine energies that we have, healing of our anger, and this coming back online with parts of ourselves that might have fallen asleep, that might have been disconnected, again, this lifetime or previous lifetimes. So with your children, can you help remind them to tune into themselves, especially where they might have been wounded in who they are, in their I amness, their uniqueness? What is it that they want? What feels good to them? What is their unique way and pace of being? This has to do with Mars in Taurus, their unique way and pace. And can you help facilitate and initiate that for them? And do you have the courage and bravery to allow them to initiate who they are? And can you follow them? And again, this really grounding into the body will be very helpful with some of that fast, speedy energy that I was speaking about earlier. Really allow your children this opportunity to follow their curiosity. Where is that Gemini curiosity leading them to? And then again, can you tune into your intuition as parents and asking that question, are things too speedy? Are they too ungrounded? Do I need to step in and help to teach about their energy and what you might be seeing? And can you reflect that back to them so they can start to see into their mirror and learn themselves and their energy? Okay. So we are also going to be having Mercury will be squaring Saturn on June 12th. So again, this can have to do with powerful, angry words, standing up to authority, speaking up to authority. That's Mercury square Saturn, and there can be some tension in that, whether it's tension towards you or towards teachers or coaches or whoever might be in that more authoritarian role. That can be some of the experience. And then on June 14th, Mercury will be cazimi with the Sun. Mercury will be conjunct the Sun. So there is this new rebirth, this transformation of voice, of communication, of thinking, of curiosity that can be taking place this week. So again, why I'm saying to really allow yourself, if you can, to follow their curiosity and where their curiosity is taking them. Another energy is friendships can be falling away right now. New connections coming in. This is actually something that my family has just recently experienced with some very close friends moving away to another country for potentially the next few months. We don't know when they're going to be coming back. And so I've been, moving into this Gemini energy, like I've been sharing with Sean, we need to really start expanding our deeper friend network for the kids. So we're not just reliant, so I gotta move my legs, on that one family, that one connection. Oops. I just knocked over a sprinkler head. Oh, okay. So it could be as well that maybe someone's not moving, but maybe friend groups aren't working for your children anymore. There's social groups. This is a wonderful time to start building these new connections. Mercury is this phone operator god, so it's bridging new connections. Oh, you can connect with this person. Oh, then there's that one. Then there's that one. It's connecting of these dots that Mercury is so good with. So see how that might be coming up for your children and how you can support that process. And even, you know, again, maybe they are losing themselves into someone else and helping them see, you know, maybe they're not the right friend for you because they don't let you go be who you are. What if we try to meet up with this person and see what happens? So again, a lot of experimentation. Okay, what else do I have on my list? So I would say overall for this month cycle that we are in, and again, even beyond that, we are rebirthing our words and our voice, our values, and our friendships. How we and our children might be doing this exchange with others. And to say as well that children can truly be our wisdom teachers when it comes to bringing in new perspectives, new awarenesses, that they have this gift that they can bring, showing us new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking and connecting. And can we see that? Can we ourselves let go of that old stuff? Those old beliefs really will be highlighted at this Capricorn full moon. Old society beliefs, expectations, obligations. You need to do things a certain way, look a certain way. This is the expectation that's been put on you since you were born. Our children can be helping us see, like, hey, that one right there, that's kind of bullshit. Let's let that fall away and let's do something else instead. Again, real wisdom teachers, our children. They can have this, and are we able to see those new perspectives and to experiment with them? And as well, it's very interesting as Gemini is very linked with education. So we can have this new awakening, these new perspectives of when it comes to our early education. How we are educating and teaching our children will absolutely be changing throughout these next few years. But I feel like we might be getting a glimpse of this right now, especially with Sedna, who holds this spiritual destiny. She's trying to bring us onto our path of spiritual destiny, like her moving into Gemini. So this new spiritual destiny can be unfolding on how we, society, have chosen to educate our children. And can we see potential new perspectives, new ideas that can be coming directly from our children? That really allow them to grow and to shine in the ways that we actually want them to be happy, to be emotionally centered and connected. Not just this survival of the fittest Capricorn world dynamic that we've been in, and a new harmony, a new balance between that and who we are as individuals and how we feel on the inside. So it's a lot of information. I really do hope this was helpful. And again, if you want to understand your children, their unique birth chart, I highly recommend that birth chart reading. You can find out more at my website, again, or send me an email. Let me know in the comments how you are seeing this June unfolding for you and your children. And are any of these themes, are you noticing them? Are they resonating with you? Are you seeing them reflected in your child's experience? I would love to know and to hear. And again, please like this video, subscribe to this channel. If you find this helpful, share this with your other parent friends. And again, let me know how this is showing up for you in your life. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful June and beyond, and I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.